living here in U.S., it's very difficult to raise children because you see a lot of challenges that you go through as young kids, or teenagers, and what have you. But if you have that culture, as simple as the respect, the family getting together, the family value, having some sort of spirituality in your mind that kind of, when you kind of drift away, shift away, that sort of guides you. There's a lot of important values that are great values, Ethiopian culture, that I want to convey to the baby that I'm having. At the same time, the American part of the good things, being able to grow up with confidence, speaking well, that kind of thing is also very important. So it's both.
Being Ethiopian, having to carry a torch, having to carry on our culture, or wanting to and having to at the same time, it was very difficult. It was very much a newness that our family had no clue. I'm sure they thought about it. I'm sure they wondered about it. I'm sure they were scared of it, in some regards. But they didn't do anything, in my opinion, directly to alleviate it, because there was nothing they could do. We were just the first. The best they could have done is communicate to us, and they didn't have that tool. I'm learning as I get older that the Ethiopianness that I have is that family thing that I was talking about. Making sure I do teach my children when they come in my family the language and the culture, the history. But I was very much into I'm very Ethiopian and proud of it. And it just felt good just to be able to have something I claimed, something I was connected to that had so much power behind it, that had so much energy behind it. I didn't understand fully what it meant not to have it, and the older you get, you understand that being tied to something is a very powerful thing, and not being tied to something is a very weakening thing. It really tears you down as a people.
I think I incorporated more of every culture besides just Ethiopian, which is difficult at times because sometimes it felt like one or the other. You're here in America, you do have to assimilate in a sense because that's the only way you can succeed. You have to know what this culture is about and how to succeed here. But in that process, you can't lose who you are and what you have and where you come from. It's definitely a struggle between balance. You have to have balance. You have to know who you are and who you want to become and combine the two together, which in essence is difficult for anyone, but more so difficult for us, being that we're so young and we have to do it and do it fast. You have to learn how to balance both. Even at church, they stress the point of our generation just having to get more involved in the culture only because we're next in line to keep the process, even for when our children come. Who's going to teach them if we don't? So as far as our generation goes, assimilation, I think it's already happened. Not 100%, I would say, but enough to see a difference, enough for them to be worried, enough for them to stress it at church or even at home. I think we can keep our culture, and we will. It's just a matter of how strong it will be. I highly doubt it will be as strong as our parents have brought our culture to America, but we can definitely bring it really close.
to become pioneers is very difficult in every way of life. But I want to try and fail than to sit back and wait. There is also another hope. Those raised in this country to keep this identity, the responsibility is in those young people raised in this Western culture, but who found their identity, their heritage. They can't keep that bright history alive. That's my hope. And also, I try to raise my child for that responsibility. I try to transfer my knowledge, my pride, being an Ethiopian. I try to pass to my child. I don't know the outcome, but my hope is up to my child.